Hi and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at Resident Evil 6. It of course was released last year, but to universal panning pretty much by everyone. I've just finished this with my best friend on co-op all the way through, and I just wanted to give my opinions and views on the game now, really. Now the first thing I will say about the game is, it's bloody lengthy. There's 4 separate campaigns, each with a different protagonist. You'll play a campaign as Leon, plus a girl, Chris. I can't remember her name, something Birkin, who was the girl from Resident Evil 2, and Ada Wong. And basically, we checked the statistics at the end, and to just finish just the 4 campaigns alone, it took us 29 hours, and this was on normal difficulty. And of course, there's an agent hunt mode, which is basically you can play as an enemy to hunt down player characters, or vice versa. And of course, the mercenary mode, which is well known for being a race against the clock for points and everything. So there's a lot of content you get for your money in the game. Now, onto the negative sides first. Now, of course, Resident Evil has been going down the action horror route for a long time now, rather than survival horror. I mean, it's not been survival horror, I don't think, personally, since the controls changed back in Resident Evil 4. I thought that was the first game that heralded this new era of action horror. And people pan this game for that, but it's been happening for a while now. Of course, it's just like a scattershot approach to this game. There's a lot of ideas that they put into the game. Some work, some don't. But the thing is, for pretty much every one bad idea in the game, there's 2 or 3 other ideas that'll make you laugh and find entertaining. One of the worst things I find, though, is the amount of quick time events. God almighty, you'll find you'll die. 90% of your deaths will be on these quick time events, so you're just not pressing A fast enough, or you don't realise you have to press X, so you press B or something ridiculous, and then you'll die. And certain boss fights, when you're running away from them, if you don't press buttons in certain times, you'll die, and that drives me mad. But on the flip side of that, you'll get parts where you're basically in a jet bombing something, in a helicopter shooting things. There's even a motorcycle part, I think a car section as well from memory. And it's just like, there's so many ideas. It must have had so many different departments working in it at once, and then all just put it together at the end. Now the plus points, if you can kind of call it that, the 4 campaigns that they've got all do interlink. They're kind of all going on concurrently, sort of thing, and then you will meet up at certain sections in the game. And basically, to understand the plot entirely, you have to play from all 4 different perspectives. And to be honest, even then, there's still some plot holes I don't fully understand. But it's probably because I was just nattering away on Xbox Live rather than actually paying attention, so that might be my flaw rather than the game. But personally, I found this game more fun than Resident Evil 5, and a lot more lengthy. And even, actually, I found it more entertaining than Resident Evil 4, which I never quite understood why everyone goes on about it being like the second coming of Christ. It's a good game, but it's not as good as everyone makes out. Whereas this is a good game, but not as bad as everyone makes out. Yeah, of course, it's not the Resident Evil we all want, but that doesn't mean it's not necessarily a decent game to play and have fun with. Maybe it's because I played it through co-op all the way through. Maybe if I played it with just the AI partners, I would have got a lot more bored playing it. Maybe it's so. The controls handle really well. You can move and shoot quite easily, and you can even jump around, roll on the floor and everything like that to avoid things, and that works really well. The healing mechanics are a bit stupid, as if you pick up a green herb, you then have to convert it into pills, and then stick it in a pill case, and then use it in the real world as you're running around, which is bleeding ridiculous. But there is actually a shortcut, which took me a while to figure out. If you just press and hold RB and press X, it'll automatically do it. So you can do it as you're running around rather than stop and faff about in the inventory, because of course it doesn't pause it when you do that. But yeah, there are some irritating boss fights in the game, I have to say, where it'll do it in stages, and basically it'll be a 5 or 10 minute stage fighting it, then it'll change, then another 5 or 10 minutes fighting it, then it'll change, and they just feel like a war of attrition really, rather than a fun battle. Those really should have been rejigged a little bit. I know it needs to feel like an epic encounter, but when you actually getting bored fighting a boss, they've clearly missed the point. But there are some other sections that are really good fun. So while it's not a legendary 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 game, it's nowhere near as bad as everyone makes out. basically, if you want a survival horror game really these days, you need to be looking at Silent Hill games. Silent Hill Downpour, for one, is actually a really good game. But if you don't mind playing something like Call of Evil, as I should really start calling this, it's basically an action horror. That's the best way you can describe this game now, especially with cover mechanics and being able to jump over chest-high walls and all that kind of thing. And the zombies even have machine guns and in some cases sniper rifles now, so it's kind of gone past the point of being absurd and you just have to run with it or hate it. So but yeah, all I can say really is it's definitely worth a look, because we picked it up £20 each not long ago, so it's probably gone even lower these days. So I'd say it's definitely worth a look, and it's not as bad as everyone's made out. It's just not the game we all really wanted. If you want a proper Resident Evil game, a modern day era at least, you should be looking at Resident Evil Revelations. I've not played a HD update, I'm going to be getting that soon, but I did play it on the 3DS and it's bloody brilliant. So, thanks for watching guys, and I shall see you next time.